and gentlemen, it is the Patrons Only Podcast, coming at you strong from TTR Studios. Studio A. It's just me today, boys and girls. And of course, you know I got Clyde. Let's go! So what's up, everybody? Got a fun one. I want to do this because I want to start doing more Patrons Only Podcasts, and even if I'm by myself, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I don't want to just do them if I have the crew, because then that only, gives me the opportunity to do so many. But, I can do these on my own as well, and I don't like doing that nearly as much. I always said from the beginning I've never wanted to be a solo radio host. I have nothing but respect for those people. But it is a lot different when you're just talking to yourself. Clyde is hanging out in the control room. He says hi to everybody. I have a story for you today. I have a movie review for you today. I have something from the internet for you today. And I have a tease for tomorrow today. So it should be fun. I'm glad you guys are hanging out. Thank you for joining us and for supporting what we do here at TTR Studios. You have no idea how big this is for us, that this allows us to really let you behind the curtain, and also it does support us financially for some of the things that it costs to run the show in the studio that a lot of people don't realize. So thank you, and let's get right to the story. It was the first ride with Clyde the other day. I was curious how he was going to get into the Onewheel. And would he like it? Would he follow it? That's a big thing with... He's not just a new dog. He's a puppy, right? So he's like 9 weeks old. And I've only had him for a week. So I took him down there, and really I wanted to throw this out there in case anybody else was looking at getting a dog or obviously we know dogs are a problem for Onewheels when it's not your dog, right? When you ride by one and it's like, yo, why is this thing just freaking the F out, right? And it almost makes you feel like... an anxiety towards dogs that I've never had before. I've always been a dog person. Had a dog since I was like 5 years old. Sparky. Shout out to Sparky. Man, I missed that pup, right? But yeah, I've never been anti-dog until I got a Onewheel, and then I realized how many times, you start equating a negative experience when you see a dog, because they come after you. They start barking at you like you're a crazy person, or they fly, following you. I'll never forget the time I was just riding around chilling in a field. I had my noise-canceling headphones on because I was in a grass field the size of a football field. No one was around, or so I thought, until I looked down and this thing was, I don't know, one of those massive, like, police canines. What do you call those? I don't even remember the name for it, but a German Shepherd, that's what it was, German Shepherd. And all of a sudden, it was like at my elbow, barking and jumping up and down, having fun chasing me, but... Oh my God, it scared the bejesus out of me when I had noise-canceling headphones on. I'm chilling in Newfound Glory in my headset, and then all of a sudden I look down, there's this massive dog, like, at my face. So, it was jumping up and down, and the owner was running after it because she was freaking out. But, yeah, scary, anxiety. A lot of these things that get paired with seeing dogs when you're on a Onewheel. But I have to say, it is the best thing ever if you do own a dog. Now, let's be honest here. We're all out there trying to get a little bit of exercise in COVID, trying to up our steps, trying not to be complete introverts. So it really is helpful getting a dog just to go outside. But if you're like me, like, I'm not trying to go on 3 different long walks every day. Like, that's a lot. I'm not really down with that. I do, however, want to make sure that my dog gets the exercise that he needs. And being a 3 to 5 pound puppy, he needs to roll, man. This guy, he's got tons of energy. So the Onewheel is just amazing because I get to go out and I find a little grass area and I just run sprints with him. I run circles around him and he follows. He just follows it. Now, it wasn't easy to get him to follow it, but I will say if you own a dog, if you own a Onewheel, you should have a dog. Like, you just should. They go so hand in hand together. And I wanted to throw that out there because I know there are a lot of riders out there, and you probably think like, do I have enough energy for a dog? Well, the Onewheel will help you with that because you don't have to go on these long walks. You're already going for 1 or 2 Onewheel rides every day. I know you are because you listen to this, right? And so I just wanted to throw it out there. Like, this is the most amazing thing for running a dog around, just having a pet, because if you can get... Now, I have them on one of those, like, really stretchy leashes, and he just loves it, guys. He just loves it. I just posted a video to the Instagram. And so just thank you. I wanted to say thank you to Future Motion and the One Wheel community for showing us that dogs are cool with these things, as long as they're not surprised by it. But I'm getting him introduced to this from day one, and he's loving every second of it. Now, the problem is that I am going to need a fender. And if you know me, you know I do not like riding with fenders because I use the tire as a visual gauge on whether or not the grass around me is too wet to ride. I like riding in grass. You know that. I'd prefer to do that over concrete any day. So the problem is when you're riding in grass, it can be a little bit too slick if it just rained, and then it's not fun. And also, you're killing the grass. You don't want to do that. You keep your neighborhoods, safe and looking clean, not getting people yelling at you, not getting people mad that you're riding around on property, right? So what I do is I have a gauge. I look down at my tire when I ride on grass, and if it is like actually wet, like you can see it black and slick wet, too wet. It's too wet to ride. Okay, got to get out of here. But if you look down and it's just spotty, it's just a little spotty when you're riding through the grass, and it's just little spots of water on your wheel, maybe from the morning dew just kind of burning off, that's okay. That's my gauge. Like if it's just spots, that's okay to ride. And if it's super slick and black and all wet, then I know it's too much and I can't ride. But if I have a fender on, I can't use that visual cue, and now I just kind of have to guess. And so I don't personally like riding with a fender. I'd rather have the rocks, chopping up my balls through my shorts than I would covering up my fender, and then thus covering up my gauge for whether or not it's too wet to ride on grass. But guys, this is the coolest thing ever. So Clyde is the size of a foot pad. If he lays down next to my back foot, I have my back foot on a, let's see, I'm using a Viper by One Wheel Armor. And Jeremy Gavin made this thing, sent me one, and I love it so much. It's a back concave foot pad. And so I have my foot all the way to the back of the pad up against the concave part, which leaves about a 4-inch width between the back of the wheel and my back foot on the foot pad. And guess who likes to snuggle up right in that little spot? Your boy Clyde. So now I'm like, well, shit, he's already like perfectly trained to just sit on the back foot pad, but I can't do that without a fender because I'm terrified that like that wheel is going to catch him and then there's so many bad things that could happen. And so obviously I'm going to look for getting a fender, but this is something that brought me some anxiety in the past. And it really makes me nervous when I see pets on a one wheel. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about that? I got to be honest. It makes me, do you judge the owners? I know you judge dog owners and pet owners. I know you do. Everybody does. I do too. If a dog's acting like an asshole, then you probably think that owner's an asshole. That's just how it goes. So I wonder how it will be received if I were to have Clyde on a back foot pad and I was riding down, 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm terrified to do that because his legs are so small. He can only run at about half speed of a one wheel. So like 10 miles an hour, right? So imagine if he had to jump off of that, if it's any faster than that, that's like you moving out of falling out of a car at 28 miles an hour. We can't run that fast. So that's really just not going to work out well for anybody. Now, if you were to jump out of a car moving 8 to 10 miles an hour, you could probably keep up a full sprint. Why would you do that? Agreed. But you see what I'm going for. You might, you can't say when you get on a one wheel or any moving piece of equipment, I'll never fall. There will be no chance of us having to bail. You just can't say that. So if that's the case, how do I feel about riding with him on this one wheel? I don't want him on a backpack because what if I fall and land on my back? I mean, he's so small. He's done for. I can't do that. There's no way I'm going to do that. What about riding with him in like a sash, kind of like a throw across, like they have these little satchels. I have one of those. No, I'm not going to do that. Definitely not going to do that. Because if I fall on him, he's done for. So I got to be honest with you. A dog this small, I don't think I'm going to have him on a one wheel. I don't know how big he's going to be. If he grows a little bit more, maybe. But I get really nervous watching black labs on a one wheel. There was a video of a black lab that was riding the board by himself, and I was just like, what are we doing, guys? Is this really smart? Like, I know it's adorable, but the possibility for negatives here way outweighs how adorable this is. So as much as the dogs that you own will love your one wheel, please be careful. Please be careful. That's all I ask, because you just don't know when it comes to riding these things. What if something just happens on your board and it just shuts off? And then what? Your dog just goes flying? I can't have it. And so as much as we all love Super Murph and seeing him riding on the one wheel, it makes me nervous when I see these things. Guys, Super Murph is a celebrity at this point. Do you realize I met some dude randomly outside in Reston, Virginia? I was just riding around about a month ago, and I saw a guy on a one wheel, and I was on my Suron. That's right, I was on my Suron, and I just threw up my hand. I was like, woo! And he threw up a hand like, woo! And so I turned around real quick, and so did he. It was almost like we both knew, like, all right, we got to stop and nerd out over this. When you see a one wheel in the wild, you got to stop and nerd out, make them feel welcome, right? Tell them about the Voice of Onewheel. Hey, catch up. How have you not seen this on YouTube? What are you doing? You're missing out, right? So I went and stopped and talked to him, and I had the Super Murph shirt on. And he was like, dude, what's up, man? Super Murph. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not on Facebook at all, but that dog's fucking awesome. Oh, yeah. Like, even if you're not on Facebook, you know riders in the community. You know the staples in the community, whether you're watching it on Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of people on Reddit. What you do gets seen by a lot of people. And it makes me really, now that I have Clyde, and I know Clyde was already a celebrity before he even got here because he was the fake name of our fake producer. Now he's an actual living, breathing thing. You know, I just want to make sure. I know there are a lot of people out there that are clamoring for him. I've got a lot of messages saying, when's Lyle going to get on? Lyle, I do that all the time. When's Clyde going to get on a one wheel? He wants to, but I'm not sure I'm going to let him, at least for the first year. Really not sure. I know it makes me feel a little bit nervous, and so I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, you know, as adorable as it is, just think about the downside. Use it as a tool to run them, but riding on it, I don't know, guys. That's a little scary. A little scary. So I did say I had a movie review I wanted to get to today. Let's do that. The Social Dilemma. It's not necessarily a movie, but this was from Netflix. It's on the trending list. Man, if you want to get sucked into something that sucks, watch what's trending on on Netflix. Because just because it's quote unquote trending, who says it's trending? Can you see anywhere that it's trending? Or is that just Netflix saying, hey, watch this. It's popular. Why? Because we said it's popular. Just watch it, right? One of those drunk parents saw that one the other day. He just got stuck in, I was trying, literally I get like 2-hour gaps now. I understand what parents say when they love their kids so much more when they're napping, because basically when Clyde starts napping, that's my little time to like, okay, what do I want to do where I don't have somebody constantly like, asking for my attention. So I sat down and watched that Drunk Parents, and my God, that was just awful. Do not watch it. Alec Baldwin, Selma Hayek, I thought with that kind of star power, I might be at least somewhat decent. Just terrible. I mean, who wrote this thing? Just terrible. So don't waste your time on that. But something you should watch is The Social Dilemma, and this is on Netflix. It was about an hour and a half, and it's sort of one of those documentary style. It felt to me a lot like The Last Dance about Michael Jordan, where they were interviewing a whole lot of people about one specific thing. And it's talking about how great social media is for so many things and the amazing things that have come from it. For example, me being able to talk to you right now. We wouldn't be able to do the Voice of Onewheel without YouTube, without Facebook and Reddit, like I always just said, and Instagram. Like, we need those things to be able to broadcast from our home. But what is it doing to us? And, that's okay. Another what's social media doing? Yeah, listen, I get it. Nobody wants to hear somebody saying, hey, this thing's so great, but be careful. I know you sound like a parent when you say that. So it's like you lose a lot of people right there. But my parents were the ones to tell me about this, and that's how I know. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, you guys are older, and, you probably are just scared of it, and you want to pass this on to me. Guys, I watched this video. I watched this documentary last night, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Really good, guys. It's really good. And it's not just there to scare you. It's people who are former, like, director of monetization for Facebook. People who are behind the scenes, early adopters for Instagram. These are people who are behind the curtain of these companies, and they'll tell you they are adamant in their own homes that they will not let their kids go anywhere near social media. The amount of suicides in teenage girls has gone up since 2008. The amount of depression has gone up in teenage girls since 2008. Basically, really when social media started kicking off, and that's basically the beginning of smartphones, 2007, 2008, and it goes through how much is put together just to get you to live a shittier life. And I'll leave it there because I really don't want to spoil anything, but it is fascinating the amount of money and time and effort that goes into mining you. It's not just your data. There is an online model built off of what you do from behavior on the internet, and it is so accurate at predicting what you'll do next. That is what they're selling. The accuracy of how you will behave. Think about that. And the one quote that I'll leave you with from that story, it was, if the product is free, then you are the product. And I want you to really think about that. If the product is free, then you become the product. Watch The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix. It's worth every second of that hour and a half. Something from the internet. Let's do that. I want to talk to you guys about this for a second. I might bring this up on the show tomorrow. We'll find out. But I want to talk to you about this guy, John McAfee? Macaulay? I don't know how to say that. McCaughey. That is a tough one. I'm going to say John from here on out. John. He posted something that got over 400 comments. And he said, since some of y'all are super keen to never wear protective gear, let me break down my surgical costs for all of you after taking a nosedive on my Onewheel now that I have them all in front of me. Pharmacy charges, $470. Supplies, just under $9,000. Outpatient service, $5,200. Radiology, $280. Surgical service, $16,370. Anesthesia, medication, miscellaneous, recovery room. It all adds up. Total charges, $35,583. Fortunately, he says, I do have insurance. However, the bill I'm left to pay myself, $6,588.37. And I can't work for 10 weeks, he says. It's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. Now, he goes on to say, if you think you can roll with every single fall or prevent every single nosedive by respecting the board, your overconfidence is fooling you, my friends. My injury could have been prevented by two things: fangs or sunny wheels, or carbon smith wheels, take your pick, front wheels, and two, practicing drag starts with those front wheels. If I had practiced drag starts, I might have been able to come out of that nosedive and keep floating. And then he gets pretty negative. For any of you who want to jump here on talk trash with the same tired lines, fangs are training wheels and respect the board. Well, you all can talk after learning that you might not ever walk the same again and that it could all have been prevented with a little fang drag practice, etc. Yeah, I mean, look, John, first of all, I appreciate you coming on here and writing something that is, written to help people. He wants to get the word out. And a lot of people are commenting, I can't understand why people just don't respect Fangs, why people just will not let you ride with Fangs. Look, if people are giving you shit about Fangs still, just block them. Just delete them. Just ignore them. I mean, that's somebody who just is... Why are you focused about how I ride? Dude, we both ride one wheels. You're a one-wheel rider. I'm a one-wheel rider. Let's all just ride together. But what I did not like about this post was the general attitude of it. If you go back and read it, let me read this last paragraph to you. For any of those who want to talk trash with the same tired lines, Fangs are training wheels, and respect the board, pussy. Well, those fucks can talk after learning they might not ever walk the same again, and that it could all have been prevented with just a little Fang drag practice. I couldn't care less about these opinions, and will not even bother responding to such nitwit shit. They'll basically be talking to a wall. Stay safe out there, everyone. John, what was your point of writing this? That's what I'm asking. I'm not getting on the guy. I'm just trying to figure out, like, as I watched this social dilemma breaking down our behavior on Facebook and social media, what was this person's goal? Was it to get me to stay safe? I really don't think so. It feels to me, and that's why some people really didn't appreciate this post, it feels like dude just fell, got really mad at the fact that he fell, and then took his emotions out onto the internet, which is fine, but then comes across as saying, you should do it like me. You're gonna fall eventually, and you're gonna have a $35,000 bill in front of you. So stay safe out there and do what I do. Stop being an asshole and riding like you do. Look, man, I totally get it. And for me, who is a wedding DJ, and I mean, literally in 4 days, it's Tuesday right now, on Friday, so 3 days, I have to go play piano for a bride to walk down the aisle to, something that she's been envisioning since she was probably 5 years old, right? Super important moment in which I need to be at my utmost perfectiveness, if that's a word. My wrists have to be good, otherwise I can't play piano or guitar, whatever they choose. So during, the spring and the fall, which are my main wedding seasons, I am really, really vigilant. Ask Lyle. I'll ask him about it tomorrow on the show just for all of you. I wear all the pads, all of them. Knee shin combo, elbows, wrists are most important to me. Helmet for sure, full face helmet. I mean, I gear up like I'm going into battle because every now and then he's right. You might fall. And falling practice is worth a whole lot. But you can't ever say, today is when I'm going to fall, so I should pad up today. Oh, I'm not going to fall today, I won't pad up. It's just got to be a habit. If you're worried about working and you need your hands to work, I'm not saying don't ride. But that is something that we should listen to this guy and say, look what he just did. This guy just went through $35,000. You don't think about that. Oh, maybe I'll break my arm. I don't really need my arm. I just do data entry. I sit at a cubicle. Like, I don't need to be physically fit. Guys, do you really want to have to pay $6,500? I know my deductible is $6,000, right? So I love where this guy is coming from, putting these charges in front of us and saying, look at what you might have to pay just from a crash. But to say that Fangs would have absolutely, definitively saved him is a little bit much. There's still wheels. I'm not saying they are bad. I'm saying, and I like the fact that he's saying practice makes perfect and maybe could have helped him. But I don't think you need to come at me telling me that I need to buy Fangs and that I need to be like you. Otherwise, I'm going to end up like you. And that's where the tone of this really doesn't match the message of this. The tone says, fuck you, be like me, or else. And the message says, hey, be safe out there. Right? So I think that's a big reason that so many of the people on social media get things confused, because the tone doesn't match the message. And that's why you see teenagers really taking this stuff hard. You know, Gen Z, the kids that are born in basically 1996 and beyond, they're the first group of people that are growing up with social media accounts in middle school. Do you remember middle school? I was an ass in middle school, and I'm a nice person. I mean, it is brutal. And we're adults now, and we start feeling all types of way when we see the tone not match the message. So, first of all, if you're an adult and you're reading something where the tone doesn't match the message, take a step back. Try to understand why the tone is where it is, instead of taking it personally, like 413 people did on these comments here. It's in the Onewheel Riders group if anybody wants to check it out. But if you have kids, please just remember how important social media is and how detrimental it is to their overall psyche, because they're not able yet. We as adults have trouble with it. So the kids, the teenagers, are not able yet to differentiate between the tone and the message. And it all gets shot into one, and that's when really bad things happen. Tomorrow on the show, on the Voice of Onewheel, I'm going to go over some of the comments that we receive just on regular videos daily, just to show you how the tone of some of these can really be hurtful. And it's funny to me because I've gotten to the point now where we have thick skin and we understand that it's not somebody personally attacking us. They're personally attacking a video or a comment that we had online, and that's something that you have to accept when you put your thoughts and feelings and creations out on the internet. But that's hard for a teen, and I know a lot of us out here listening have kids right now, so please just remember that you know, they are very much addicted to these, and it's not a good thing. It's just not. Please watch that Social Dilemma on Netflix. It was really beneficial to me, and it made me want to delete all of my stuff. I haven't been on Facebook since COVID happened. It just was really bad for me. Everybody was just sitting there complaining, and I just was like, wow, this is just killing my psyche. I'm a positive person. I shouldn't feel like this. As soon as I took it off my phone, I have been so much happier. So I only go on just to see my notifications. I don't do any scrolling, and it has been just completely better for my psyche. It really has. So I wanted to just put that out there. And today we will tease. I will end the show with a tease. Bart Miller, I'm coming for you, homie. That's right. We're coming for Bart Miller tomorrow on the Voice of Onewheel. CG and Bart will be joining us because, well, basically on the show I said, CG, how did you go on your first Onewheel ride with Bart Miller? He's a crazy person. You can't do that. Well, Bart Miller heard it, and he took offense to it. So he will come on the show with CG and yell at me tomorrow for our interview session. Now, for the group ride, got a few things happening. I'm not going to tell you who's going to be on the show tomorrow. It's going to be a whole bunch of people, and we're excited to have them. Oh, fine. Should I just tell them? Clyde, you want me to tell them who's on the show? Yeah, buddy? All right. I'll do it. So we have the organizers of 3 different group rides that took place over this last week. Out in Dallas, they broke a record of 203 Onewheels in one group ride. We will have the organizer of that event. In San Diego, there was an amazing group ride. We will have the organizer of that event. And in Washington, D.C., here in our hometown for TTR Studios, there was a group ride. We will have the organizer for that event, Bruce Utus. All 3 of those guys will join us tomorrow for the group ride session. We're going to talk about how to set up massive, ridiculous, fun group rides for everyone and how to make them fun for Pint riders and XR riders, Plus riders, and even some of the V1 riders out there. We know you're there, and we haven't forgotten about you. So just tune in tomorrow for a big bunch of stoke and a group ride sesh with the creators of 3 massive group rides across the country. And then, of course, we'll have CG and Bart Miller joining us for the interview session where Bart is basically just going to yell at me for about 15 minutes, and I can't wait to see what he does. I hope you guys had fun on this. This is the Patrons Only podcast. I made it just for you this morning, and I hope you enjoy it. So get out there, have a float. We'll see you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern for the Voice of Onewheel on TTR Studios. Aloha.